Man, Republican Senator Roy Blunt from Missouri. Sir, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
You're going to hold a hearing tomorrow on these cuts. What is your best solution?
Well, my best solution at this point is I believe the cuts are going to happen. The president's insistent on tax increases or cuts, and I think that means he gets spending cuts. About half of them are in the military. I think the best solution is to now let the Defense Department target those cuts rather than take across-the-board cuts. And we're going to have those cuts. I think they're going to happen. I'm not going to be for tax increases, and I suspect there will be no tax increases.
Well, so just to be clear, the sequestration will happen then. The Defense Department will be hit with $500 million in cuts.
Well, I think cuts will happen. The president needs to decide now if he wants these cuts to happen, if he's willing to make some cuts in the out years on the entitlement programs so that Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare last for another generation. That's the kind of compromise he could make if he wanted to. I certainly agree with Senator McCain that he ought to call the leaders down to the White House and figure out what needs to happen here so that we do the right thing in the right way rather than the right thing in the wrong way. Everybody knows we've got to reduce spending, and we have to decide what spending we're going to reduce. At this point, the spending is going to be across the board in defense and non-defense discretionary. That's not the best way to take cuts, but frankly, if that's the only choice, it's better than not getting this spending under control.
Well, Nancy Pelosi says it's a false argument to say we have a spending problem.
The president said something similar apparently to Speaker Boehner, that we don't have a spending problem, we've got a health care cost problem. Of course we have a spending problem. The federal government's now spending about 24% of GDP.
He argues that Republicans walked away from a deal. Speaker Boehner has been on the opposite side of that for a couple years now, saying that the president got cold feet when it came to beginning a big deal and not forced into sequestration.
Well, I think the president had a great opportunity in November and early December to get a lot of these things out of the way, and he chose not to. I mean, it's time for the president to lead. It was time for the president to lead late last year, and we wouldn't be going now from one crisis to another. You know, when you refuse to lead, you allow yourself to be defined by crisis. And when people think of the Obama administration, that's what they're thinking about. Why is it we are constantly lurching from one crisis to another instead of solving these problems? I think we should have solved them last year. I'm ready to solve them now. But we did increase taxes last year on the group that the president said was the solution to solving the revenue problem.
I said million. I should have said billion. You get lost in these zeros these days, but it's a big issue to handle. We'll watch your hearing tomorrow.
Right.
Senator McCain suggested for every 3 retirees from the federal government, just replace 1, and that solves everything. We'll see whether or not that idea gets traction in time. Senator, thank you for your time
on
the Hill today.